PrazimProductions.
What up, fam? This is C.A. Purcell, and welcome to the Gumbolaya podcast, a verbal goulash of love between moments that matter. Back with me again, wonderful again, is Tsunami. We need like the cowbell.
I need a bell.
From the 90s radio shows.
I can always just go,
I can't do that. Tselane's back. Wonderful Tsunami in studio. We're loving life. After the birthday week.
yeah.
Birthday.
I just had a birthday.
Out
It was on the
partying.
20th. Yes.
So what'd you do?
I had went out to dinner the day of my birthday, which was on a Thursday. And then for the weekend, I had a birthday brunch and had a bunch of people. We just went to literally El Torito. But because they have all-you-can-eat food and unlimited mimosas,
Yeah.
it was the best choice for me. It was,
I always feel pressure on my birthday because like my wife is a big birthday person and she always thinks of something to do, right?
Yeah.
And then my birthday is 20 days after hers. And so then she's like, so what do you want to do, babe?
You're like,
and
I
I'm
don't
like,
know.
I want to go to dinner with the fam. Like,
yeah, something simple, right?
I want to call up my friends. But it's every now and then I'll think of something. But usually I'm just like, I want to get everybody together. I want to eat. Because like, so when I first got to LA, we would all hook up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we were in our early 20s, hanging out,
party.
chilling.
Now we're adults.
It was the best. But now everybody's busy. Everybody's
busy.
adulting, you know. So we get up whenever we can, you
Right.
know, whenever we get a break and schedule, we'll go over each other's studios or whatever.
Right.
But we don't really get to see each other
It's
quite as
hard.
much. So for when the birthday comes around, I just want to hang out.
Yeah, it's something
See
chill.
everybody. How
Dude,
you
simple
doing?
is better. I used to throw huge parties. I mean, I probably will do it next year. I just wanted to skip a year so I can have a break. But every year I throw themed parties.
Mm-hmm.
And I have it at a friend's house or I'll rent to be Airbnb. But usually I have a huge theme and people have to dress up. Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Did you do that this year?
I did not.
The dress up? Okay.
I did not, but I am going to celebrate Halloween that way.
Yeah.
But last year I had a cowboy theme party. It was a rodeo. It was amazing.
How did it go?
Everybody dressed up.
Anybody show up as a Native American?
Yes.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Somebody
Was
sort of
it
a Native
tastefully
American.
a Native
'cause
American?
He's Mexican and something, and he's part
Okay.
Native American. He had a shirtless with the thing. It looked really good.
Okay.
It was a good look.
Okay.
But for the most part, everybody was funny. A girlfriend of mine dressed up like this character named Ricky Rocco, and she's a girl, but she had like the mustache and a do-rag.
Is
and,
Ricky Rocco, like, is that somebody I should
she
know? or-
No, she just made it up.
Oh,
she
okay.
said, "This is my character." Her shirt said, "I love Walmart." It was like it was just all.
What does
over.
that have to do with
the South?
the Cowboys
The
go to
cowboy things,
Walmart?
I don't know, but she had like a beard. It was hilarious. So she dressed up like a boy. I had on a super like 1950s cowgirl outfit, and everybody was dressed up. My boyfriend had a blonde like straight wig on,
Yeah.
and had on like a vest and like some jeans, like a cowboy. It was so stupid.
Oh.
It was funny. And the year before that was Gods and Goddesses, like you know, in history. And then I did a circus theme. It's popping. Everybody pretty much goes.
These
really
were all
hard.
Halloween parties, or were these
These were
birthdays?
all my birthday parties. Since my birthday is the end of September, so I have it right around October 1st.
Okay.
Or right around
So
the 30th.
people are getting ready
People are getting
for
ready
the-
for Halloween, but I like to throw a party where they have to get dressed up. It's just fun.
Ahead of time. So
Yeah,
right
they can
around the
get
time when they're
prepared.
going to be going to look for a
They're gonna
costume.
have it ready for mine.
You're like, get it ready.
Oh yeah, get it ready. But they love it. I mean, it's been pretty amazing. I've had some amazing turnout.
Well, happy couple of days after your
Thanks.
birthday. Weird transition because what I wanted to talk about has nothing to do with birthday. I just wanted to say happy birthday.
Aw.
But I had a question because I know you, among all the billions of things, what all do you do? I know like so many bullet points. What all do you do?
I do everything.
I know you're
I'm a secret wrestler. I actually moonlight as I'm just kidding.
karaoke mic
a karaoke
stand.
mic stand holder. I am a teacher, a science teacher.
Yeah.
I can teach other subjects, but I love science, so I stuck with that. I'm a mom. I'm a girlfriend. Pretty much that's it. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, no, you do way more than that. You do.
I host.
You
a
do
women's
the
group.
women's
That's just a
group
host.
thing. You
I
do the
I
mentoring
do
you talked to me
mentoring,
about. You talked
healing.
about the healing thing. You're a masseuse.
Yeah, that's true.
And there was something
But it
else you
just seems
talked
like
about.
when you say you do it, that means that it's open for the world. I guess it's just a private thing because I don't open it up to the world.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that.
I
thought this was a thing.
It was not a thing. It's not a thing for everyone. I'm very particular. When I started doing the massages, I only massage women. I only massage women, and I've done healing on women.
No love for the breasts.
Not that I don't love them. I just feel like for me, I personally feel more comfortable massaging women because I can do my thing and it just stays that.
Oh,
because I've
worried
had
about
some
the
situations.
pressure of the breasts.
It's just, yeah.
A little bit lower.
Yeah.
Little
It gets
bit
a little
lower.
intense. It's not anything against men.
You ever had anybody to go all the way into inappropriate?
Oh, yeah. And
what'd you do?
I'm a busty girl and not even trying to be funny, but like it just, people just think that it's automatically going to be going down and it's not. And,
You think that has something to do with the bustiness?
big boobs definitely will.
Possibility of.
Because if I lean over and my breasts happen to.
No, I meant, were you saying that, do you think your voluptuousness has a tendency to make people assume something about your personality?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you, I don't know that connection. What does big boob mean in terms of a stereotype?
Big boob means that probably promiscuity, they think. People think
Really?
that. Yeah, for sure. Or super, if they're like, or they're just curious, or it's a fetish for them. People have an ideology about it.
I know that. Some people are into boobs, some people are into whatever, some people are into feets. I can understand
maybe it's not just boobs. Maybe it's because I wear tight clothing and have big boobs.
Maybe. I was going to say, I can see someone making an assumption based off of, clothing and the cut of clothing, even though we're not supposed to do that. But if you see somebody in a smock and a stethoscope, you assume they're a doctor.
So I usually...
Is it a smock?
Yeah.
The lab coat?
Well, I wear a lab coat to work. I wear all high neck tops. I went to an event with one of the schools.
You know what I mean, though, right? Like, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, you assume.
That's the whole new thing that women are probably screaming about at these slut walks is that there's like, just because I dress like this, and I don't feel like I dress super inappropriate, but then I also, could be mentally ill. But
I've never seen you dress inappropriately.
I don't feel like there is appropriate or inappropriate. Well, there is, but when I go to work, I don't wear anything low cut. I wear really, really regular tight t-shirts that are like up to here, and I wear a lab coat over it. However, still same difference because one of the teachers ended up trying to hit me up on Instagram, and I had to block them.
Oh, like that?
Yeah, but they had never.
That's a lot more than hitting you up. Like
they saw me
needing to block
every
them.
day from at school, and we're very friendly. Never said anything. They saw me at an event. We had a fundraiser, and I was wearing a gown. And I had my hair straightened and I didn't look like the same person, and they were freaking out. They were like, oh my gosh, wow, I didn't know. And then I got messages on my Instagram and I was like,
okay. But what was the intensity that led to needing to block? Because, you look great. Oh my God, you're so gorgeous.
First of all,
how does that?
Well, for students and parents of my students do not need to be on my personal Instagram.
Okay.
I feel like that's inappropriate.
Okay.
And they shouldn't be messaging me on my personal Instagram. If they have a question or an issue, or they want to compliment me, make it public. Like, hey, you look really nice at school. Or send me an email on my, LAUSD email asking about your child. But to take it a step further, to find me, which I've never, they didn't have my name. I don't know how they found me. They found me from a hashtag.
Well, how could they not know your name?
Well, I don't put my actual name on my page.
Oh, okay.
So they found me from a hashtag.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, that's a lot of searching. And then, I don't know, I just don't feel like it's appropriate.
So it was just the general concept of someone finding you on social media that made you uncomfortable? Like, it wasn't like someone was like, hey, I'm coming over right now, be ready for me,
No, he didn't say that.
It wasn't like stalkerish or...
It was stalkerish to me because he added me and then messaged me and liked all these specific pictures that I had that were... very.
Did you ask him to knock? I'm just curious. Did you ask him knock it off?
I sent a letter home in an envelope that was sealed. His daughter didn't know what was going on, but I sent a letter home very nicely and said, hey, I'm very private about my personal accounts. Okay. And
so you did give a cease and desist.
I did okay. Very nicely. And I was like, I love your daughter.
Yeah.
I just, I'm very professional
and
I try
cool
to keep
with
it.
That.
Yeah, I'm just not cool with that because I don't want anything to be misconstrued or whatever. And he got upset. He tried to get me fired. So that's when you know you're guilty.
I need to ask, right? and I hope we get to the whole, the things that I had planned for us to talk about, but I've learned that that's true. But the whole dudes going nuts over no thank you.
Yeah, it's weird.
I need to understand
that
this
happens
because
often.
I know that it happens, right? I talk to plenty of young ladies, plenty of women that explain, it's in TV shows, people talk about it, but I've never seen it myself. So I guess
it's like racism
on the receiving side.
Like you sound like a white person now.
Well, I mean, do I really?
Yes.
I mean, I have friends who are
I
guys.
never experienced racism. I know it exists.
Well, yeah. I can't relate to because
not,
I've
because
been
men are
rejected
dominant.
so many times. It's happened. Hey, what the deal is? No, thank you. All right. And I've never felt angry except for people that took me through mess. Like I got stories of chicks that the process was very inconsiderate. And but I wasn't raged and, oh my God, you stupid beep.
I've seen some ragey situations. Fortunately, I've been able to, because of my comedic responses, I can totally disarm someone just by making them laugh. Yeah. So I've been lucky, but I have had a couple people be like, you beep. So F you think you're tight. I'm like, no, you do.
Right?
Okay, because I'm just regular.
5 seconds ago, you was digging.
I'm like, oh God. But, I know that they're going through something internally. That's
so you said you sent a letter.
Yeah.
Hey, I keep my private life private. Please don't disrespect. And he tried to get you fired?
Yeah.
What was
And I saw him at the science fair and he was ignoring me. I remember. I was laughing. I was like, oh, well.
What was the, what's what I'm looking for? What was the charge that he reported to say you should be fired? Like, how did he bring that up?
Okay. So at the time I was working at a charter school.
Yeah.
And charter schools are basically controlled by the parents and their money. Because the money that comes to
it's expensive.
The school they're paying my paycheck.
Yeah.
So it was basically like a suggestion that I was not that great of a teacher, that, it was like little smart comments here and there, and a couple people told me. The lady in the front office is one of my friends, and she kind of told me, be careful of this one because him and his wife run the board, or I don't know. Oh. There was something going on.
But then you can explain. You could be like, yo,
married,
this is what this,
See, that was also part of it. I was like, and he didn't want to probably get caught up in that. Me saying anything. I would have never. I wasn't going to say anything.
Well, yeah, but you have the messages on your social. Like, did you say that to the peeps?
Exactly.
Like, hey, y'all.
I screenshotted it. I said, this is what's going on. So I'm not worried about myself. And that's part of it. But guys get a little, not all, but some men get a little reactive.
I can see reactive, but I'm talking about the rage.
Oh, I've seen the rage. Like, it's jailbirds. Like, I've seen guys that have just got out of prison that were like, one guy came up to me and he was like, what's up, girl? Where you from? Why you got all that red on? I was like, because it's flowers and I like flowers.
Oh, okay.
That was the first thing. Yeah. And then he tried to talk to me after banging on me. I was like, that's so sexy.
That's real.
And but I was like, let me not even try to. I'm not going to get any kind of attitude because I don't want to die. So I'm going to just be like, oh, hi, I love flowers. I'm a girl. We like flowers. And I was like, I don't know any blue flowers that are naturally blue. But, I love blue too.
I don't know about flowers.
We're talking about Bloods and Crips. I guess he thought and I was just like, whatever. So he also started talking to me about his life and trying to, when can I take you out? And he was like, I just got out. I did 10 years. It's really hard to reject somebody that just got out of prison because you just don't want them to take it. And I said, I have a fiance. I was so single at the time.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm in a very serious relationship. And what they got to do with me? I said, well, if I was with you, I would never disrespect you like that. I would never talk to another guy.
Where were you?
I was at a bar in Woodland Hills.
Okay.
It was a random little dive bar.
Yeah.
But I've had all kinds of weird. But he got an attitude with another girl. After that, he went on to the next one because I made him laugh and it was fine.
Maybe he was having a rough night.
He's having a rough life.
A lot. Yeah.
But no, guys do it. Guys get irritated. I mean, especially back in the 2000s.
I think the closest I've seen, I think I saw a text. Someone, no, I'm sorry. It was on a dating app and someone showed it to me because the conversation came up. And again, I was like, I hear people say that, but I've just never seen it because I'm never in the mix between a dude and, a young lady talk or any lady talking. And so she showed me. And it literally was like, hey, what's up? You're so beautiful, everything.
Yeah.
And it got all the way down to the part where she was like, I appreciate it, but I'm not interested. And immediately, like I think it was like bipolar. A minute later, it was all caps, all expletives,
all bad,
all insults, like it was a completely different person, completely different conversation.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, how do we go from I'm interested, I think you're beautiful,
right,
I'm curious about you, to rage?
I don't know. That's testosterone for you. I don't
know. I think remember what we were talking about before about the delusionment of porn? I think a lot of that
has to do with it?
I think a lot of young brothers are not used to the fact that when you're dealing with a human, hopefully old brothers grow out of ignorance. You grow out of the things that you kind of accept,
you would hope.
Right? But I think a lot of young brothers aren't used to the process of talking to a human being when it comes to women. Like, you go out, you see the world, you do your thing,
right, but
a lot of dudes really spend a lot of their time focused on the women on their cell phone or on their laptop or whatever. And those women, again, there's no conversation.
Because they think it's going to go like a porn scene, like, hey, what's up?
You know what I'm saying?
Sudden,
hey, I think you're gorgeous. Oh, come over and do it.
Yeah.
It ain't like that, yo. Like, and I really do think, I don't know if that's it. I think that's some of it. I think a lot of brothers are honestly not accustomed to the simple reality that women are human beings, and if they're not interested,
they don't treat them like human beings. That's because of the history of this country. I mean,
what are you talking about? Wouldn't know human beings. What are you talking about?
Because women were not treated as equal. That's why. And they were not considered like a regular human being. They were treated as an object or there for men's pleasure or used to cook and clean or used to be a sex object. This is not new. This is the misogyny of this country, unfortunately, has been. Not all men are like this. I'm not across the board saying that. But
I follow what you mean, though.
Yeah, it was just how our history has been. And, even in caveman times, I mean, they were dragging women by their hair. They're like, get your ass over here, So I feel like it's just part of the rape culture in this country. Now we have this whole flip side where there's a lot of feminists and a lot of women coming forward and a lot of women not putting up with it anymore. And it's starting to shift things, and it's making everybody uncomfortable for a good reason, I think, because in the end, it's going to balance everything out and everybody's going to respect each other. Hopefully that's what I'm fingers crossed happens, but we'll see. Or it might make men more angry.
I don't think that's going to come from coercion.
Look, I'm like, or it's going to make men really angry and they're going to start raping people.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, it's funny you said that, because I as a man, I think about that a lot, because I would never want to try and make a point that anything relating to women saying respect,
right,
equality, consideration, nothing like that is an issue. But there's just so much that goes far past that, where a lot of messages kind of turn into men are the problem, male is bad. And I think a lot of young dudes, a
lot of men's egos are getting bruised and they need hugs.
Egos more so, like, I mean, coercion does not build bridges.
What do you think would build a bridge?
Love. It's always love.
I got raped. Let me love you.
Nah, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, that's not what I mean at all.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get the specifics.
Well, that's still my answer. However, I wouldn't be foolish enough to say that a rape victim should be focused on loving their attacker. However, I would say that men, particularly young men, that are trying to learn how to grow up and how to understand the reality of what it's like to be a woman in this country, in this type of culture, I think there has to be some room to remember that, men have mothers, men have sisters, men have daughters. Most men want to love and respect and support women.
They do?
The bad ones are so bad that it's kind of hard to remember that when you have someone whose life has suffered a traumatic episode, a traumatic situation, someone that's been hurt so intimately and significantly. But what I was more so trying to get at is that there has to be a line that separates telling a young boy, a young man, that there is a problem with him being male.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a line from that.
I think that you shouldn't
separating
say
from the things that some of these men do, the things that the mentality that surrounds this culture.
I usually
is a
speak to
problem,
my son
and,
with the respect, and my man. I don't. My man actually talks about men in generalities and say men are this and that and the other, as a man, I could say that. And so I allow them to say that. But as far as my son is concerned, I'm very loving and very explanatory. And I teach him about women and what they go through and to be sensitive, because there's a lot of misunderstandings that happen. So he knows about tampons and he knows about emotions, and he knows because it's always been on the flip side. It's been negative for women to be women. Like, oh, you're acting like a or you're acting like a girl, or you need to grow some balls. So we've had all these negative things. So unfortunately, in this this climb for equality, I don't want equality. I want equity. I don't want to be equal. Equality is being the same. I'm not the same as a man. We are so different. And I feel like we need to honor and recognize those differences. And people are so focused on being the same where we're not, and I feel like in certain aspects, there are certain things that women do that men may not, or vice versa. And it's okay. But I feel like the focus is shifted, but that's a whole nother day. But as far as, I do teach my son, I respect men. I don't like some of the things that a lot of men have done in history. Yeah. And it's just a cultural thing sometimes. And I want to teach him not to be that way and to respect women. He's very sensitive to that now. He's like, oh my gosh. That's crazy.
That's good. But I mean,
that's not everybody.
That's pretty much what I was going to say. But it's good that you're trying to make that point. But how do you talk to him in response to concepts that are splitting the line between woman good and man bad? Now, I know everybody doesn't do this, but I can definitely, and I kind of wish I had like a running list of examples, but I try not to remember things that I consider to be extreme and negative because I don't want to keep all that stuff in my head. But I can definitely say that I consider myself to be an egalitarian. Yeah. And I follow what you mean about equity. To me, I would say that is a lot closer to the concept of true equality than not. Right. So I feel like they're very closely related, right? But the loudest voices aren't usually saying, let's connect, let's work together, let's be in unity.
Of course not.
It's usually coming from people who are enraged and who have been hurt. Yeah. And they're fighting against so many different aspects of society that allow for that type of hurt to continue. Right. So again, that's what I'm saying. I would never want to tell anyone that's fighting for something serious to them to be quiet.
Of course.
Like that's one of the biggest mistakes that men make in the first place is trying to quiet a woman. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not like that at all. But
calm down. You need to calm down. I'm just saying.
I think that has to be used carefully.
No, that's a triggering word. Yeah. When you're in the midst of a disagreement.
I've learned
that triggers people, especially me. You need to calm the down.
Well, I've never used those words, but
I don't think that's the word.
I remember having a conversation with someone who I love very dearly. Oh, snap. We're going to stay anonymous.
Yes, anonymous.
Someone I love very dearly. And my comment to her was, I definitely, I'm here. I'm cool to talk about this, but I don't think we can be yelling at each other. And her response was, I'm not yelling. And I'm like, come on now. Come on now. What was that?
She's yelling now because you done made her mad.
Well,
I can already say it I know. I've been in that
exactly
exact same situation. I know I the exact same situation.
Yeah.
And then
later on, that's what she said.
I'm yelling now because you pissed me off. And
but before that moment, I felt like she was yelling.
I felt like it. See, that's where we differ. Feelings are not facts.
That's true.
And that's what it is. And I feel like
if we're going to care about each other's feelings, then I care about yours, you care about mine.
Well,
and if I feel like...
A feeling is like, I don't like the way that I'm being talked to, and I feel attacked.
Right.
That's not saying I feel like you're yelling. You're putting it on her. You're making that a fact when she may have not been yelling. She might have been aggressive.
I've learned to use different wording, particularly in the course of being a married man, because a lot of these kind of conversations, you can't just be like, you know what, and you can't just bounce.
Of course.
You can't do that. You literally have to trudge through that mud and until you get to a point, hopefully, of peace,
understanding and peace.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I've learned to change my wording, but that's all I meant in that particular situation. That's all I meant. I meant you are yelling. You're really upset right now.
Was she yelling?
And it's hard. Yes.
Was she really yelling before that moment?
Yes. Yes. She got louder when I said it. Most definitely. She was yelling. I wouldn't just say that. I would just come off the cuff.
He'll be like this. Stop yelling at me. And I'm like, I'm actually not yelling, but I'm about to yell. Because you are saying that I'm yelling because I'm irritated.
That's true.
And just because I'm talking loudly and I will raise my voice like this and I'm like, excuse me, I'm not yelling. You want me to yell? And then I'll yell. You know what I'm saying? And that's usually...
But in those moments, it's hard to think when you're upset. It's tough to think when you're upset.
And it's hard to calm somebody down.
But in those moments, you know what he's saying. He's like, yo, this is above a level and also, that I feel like we can talk.
Why am I even yelling in the first place? That's also a key. Why am I raising my voice?
Because you're choosing to. Like, that's a choice, right? If I'm mad at you, I still have to choose how I express that to you.
Yeah, and
regardless of what you did, regardless of if what you did was deserving of whatever,
and that also makes me mad.
I still got to choose.
Because I'll hear the conversation, and I don't know if you've ever had this happen or you do this. Well, I'm not yelling, so basically, like, you could say whatever you want to, as long as it's calm. You can say something that's agitating to a person or disrespectful or irritating or frustrating to a person, but if you're saying it at a tone that's lower than what's considered yelling, then it's okay. Like, you can literally piss somebody off, but then because of their reaction, it's kind of antagonistic in a way. I don't know.
It can be. To me, everything is about the intention. It's about the heart behind the person that's saying whatever they're saying. For me, personally speaking, and from what I've seen that works better in relationships.
Right.
We all have to remember that communication it starts from intention, choice of words, delivery, body language, and then there's the reception side, right? So all of those things together make for whatever it is other person's going to understand. So if I say to you, you know what, that which just happened was very upsetting to me. I really feel like this, that, and the other. That's a very mature way to go about it. Everybody doesn't have that clarity of thought when the intensity is kind of on. Right. So when someone's voice gets elevated, when their body language becomes aggressive and confrontational, the other person starts to get defensive. And in my personal experience, again, and what I've seen that works better, the whole concept of calm down is like, we can't fix anything if we fight.
But that's better it's better to say what you just said.
Well, yeah.
It's better to say that.
I'm a grown dude that I've spent a lot of time learning about this stuff. A lot of people don't have that experience of learning. You know what I'm saying? I've been taught a skill set to be able to explain it. A lot of brothers haven't encountered.
Calm down. But I've also experienced
I know that, yeah. A lot of dudes have made that mistake. Yeah,
or they'll scream it.
Yeah, that's like, even worse. It's like, what, you got to calm down so I can scream? Right? Nah.
I've heard this also, similar type of responses in situations with women that happen to be white in a work setting, where I'm upset about something and I'm expressing myself, or they ask me what's wrong, or there was an issue. And I'm talking to the principal and we're telling our sides of the story as to what occurred. And I'm telling them, and then they're like, oh, she was so aggressive. And it was just too much. Right. And I'm like, so I have to literally suck it up and lick butthole. That's how I feel in order to express myself. I don't feel like that's fair. Yeah. And I feel like black women, period.
That's true.
Are looked at no matter how articulate, how calm you are. You can sound like you came from England. It doesn't matter. If you're black and you're a woman, you automatically have an attitude. Yeah. Period. Point blank. And subconsciously, as a whole culture, we subconsciously like magnify that even within our own culture, and black men too, and white men, white women, everybody does it. They'll point the finger at this girl like she has an attitude, not speaking in personal relationships, but it's subconscious. I think it's inculcated into our culture. So we're automatically like, oh, calm down. Oh, you have an attitude. Because I'm like, you know what? I don't really like that. Oh, well, you know what? You're just a little too much. And I'm like, I just said one thing and I'm calm, but I'm about to get irritated. And I'm not raising my voice, but I can be irritated. Just like I've seen many people get irritated. But for some reason, if a black woman asserts themselves and says, hey, I don't like something, then it's automatically like, whoa, you're tripping. You go to a store and you see a white lady and she's upset. She's like, I am going to call the manager. I'm going to call everybody. I'm shutting this whole store down. Yeah, you go ahead. Oh, yeah, she's really upset. Somebody must have done something wrong. It's so different. And I think that's also something that us black women, and I can't speak for all, but I'll speak for myself, are carrying. We're carrying that ideology that we have that attitude, and I think it pisses us off even more. Plus, we got cortisol running through our systems.
How do you? How do you feel when you see examples of where that stereotype comes from? Because I know better.
I've seen that.
Because I'm a black guy. Like I've most of my friends and family are black, so I see both sides of that example. So how do you feel though when you see a sister just going off like
sad.
Crazy over? I
feel sad, and I'm like, I want to check in with her and say, do you need a hug? I mean, you probably have had a hard life, or is there something else going on? Like that's probably why
you didn't tell her to calm down.
No, and that's why I have the women's group, because I feel like there's so much pressure to minority women, and also in men too, but I'm just speaking for women because I am one. But there's so much pressure as a woman of color that we hold that nobody really can understand, because we have all this pressure, in society to, behave a certain way, look a certain way, carry a certain, sort of whatever. There's so many different things. And being in education, there's also these eyes looking at you, judging you. So, and then all different aspects. So I don't know. I feel like when I see it, I do want to pull women like that aside and ask them, what is going on in your life that you feel like you need to express yourself like that? There has to be something going on.
You think most people would be able to tell you?
I've had that happen. I usually hit up a couple friends. I'm like, are you okay? Yeah. Are you okay? I won't ask them in front of a public audience. But in private, I'll say, are you okay?
In my experience, most people that have like issues with rage, they don't know where it comes from. Like they don't.
Well, I will say this. I mean, historically, black people that are related to slaves have a lot more higher levels of cortisol in their system naturally. That's a scientific fact. It's passed on through slavery, and it has gone down to generation to our generations of people that we have now. There was a doctor that did a study, and she calls it postmodern slave syndrome. This is new, but people look it up. It's something that is real. And if you test your cortisol levels, they are higher than other cultures. Armenians have it. Jewish people have it. Why? Because they've been through traumatic events. And traumatic events are passed down through the mom. So women probably have more cortisol because we probably are ancestors of women that were getting beat. And then if you're ever spanked or your parents spanked you, cortisol levels are up.
I probably got a lot of cortisol because I was a pain in the butt.
I got whooped and now I'm crazy.
I got many a spanking.
And our culture as a whole has been through so much. I feel like it's just like we as a people don't always know where certain feelings are coming from. I don't even think we realize what has occurred within our culture in the moment. Sometimes we have to take a step back and look at it from the outside like, wow, my mom was on a segregated bus. Yeah. That was only 60 years ago. Yeah. It's not that long ago. So then if it's 60 years ago, there's people walking around.
It's even tougher for the underclasses because we really can't research our history as easily because history books are written from the perspective of the winner, so to speak.
Of the colonizers. And it's in poor communities, it's not like there's access to education and certain tools.
Well, not as much.
Not as much. And then you get older and you go to college and you're just like, what?
Yeah. I do think that is one benefit. I mean, there's a lot, but that's one benefit of the information age, having so much at your fingertips.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't even care, but
that's true. But I was gonna say, unfortunately, that advantage comes with a lot of disadvantage. Like you have everything available, so there's not just helpful things.
There's lies. There's
That's a lot. Hey, yo, so y'all hit us up. Let me know what y'all think. Write in, send questions.
Yeah, ask us.
And we'll respond to them as soon as possible. We totally got deep. We didn't even get to the thing.
I
wanted to ask you about the retreat. So let's do another segment. We're gonna end this one and we're gonna regroup.
All right.
Send us information, send us words, like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Love you so much. Peace, peace, peace.
If it's my time, then it's my time. Worry about yours, 'cause I got mine. 'Cause I got mine. Worry about yours, 'cause I got mine. Cause I got mine. PrazimProductions.
We totally got deep.
Yeah, so quick.
Talk about slave. You be talking about slavery.
What? Did I talk
about slavery?
I always talk about it? Do I?
Oh my
Did I bring it up in
God.
every single show?
You be like, yo, I love this new flavor of bubblegum. Well, you know slavery.
That's true. Slavery is the epitomation of the condemnation of the bubblation. You dare talk about them slaves.
Oh,
Like
man.
that, boy. There you go, boy.
I think we're good. And you're good? Are you good? Am I good? Are you good? Are you
Everybody good?
Are we good? Am I good? Are you good? I think I'm good.